Welcome to our show, the Al-Islam and Community Issues Group. I'll be your host today, Brother Benjamin Shabazz, and our special guest today will be Brother Julius. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Julius.
Alaikum assalam.
All right. Glad you could come out. Before we start the show, we always like to open up and give praises to the Almighty Creator. So just join me. All we're going to do is just say Bismillah, with the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Ameen. So our show today will be dealing with what we call movie reviews. And we like to go out and check out some of these movies to bring back information to you so that you can decide whether you want to bring your family, whether it's worth seeing, or, you know, just some of the idiosyncrasies about the movie and some of the concepts in the movie. So we checked out quite a number of movies here. We got Logan, Get Out, I'm Not Your Negro, Hacksaw Ridge, and we want to revisit Moonlight, and Manchester by the Sea. And then if we have time, we want to go revisit Fences and just revisit Fences, because I didn't mention Split. Yeah, we saw Split too. Okay. So I'm going to let you kick it off, Brother Julius.
With Logan?
With Logan.
Yeah, Logan is about Wolverine, and Wolverine, like, it's a myth that he can't die. And it's the year 2029, and he's a chauffeur on the Texas-Mexico border. And there's a Mexican woman, like, kind of stalking him because she wants him to take care of this little girl and protect her. And he doesn't want to mess with him. He's the loner, and he's caring for Professor Xavier. And so the woman wants Logan to take the little girl to North Dakota, to a place where the mutants are protected. And that's basically, you know, my review of the movie. You have to see it, but like, death is a big thing in the movie, with mutants dying, and the question is Wolverine mortal? And you know, him helping that little girl, maybe that plays a little on the death thing with him, she inheriting his I don't know how you say it, his abilities, whatever. So.
Well, in the previews, she's a Wolverine too.
Yes, yeah.
And you know, she starts killing people.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So.
And she's actually, it's debatable, but she's his daughter.
Okay.
So
are we saying that he doesn't know that could have been his daughter?
Yeah, he didn't know.
Oh, so now here's the other thing. So is these people able to have sexual relationships with people and produce children?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So he don't know who he had sex with? And is that what we're saying? He was having sex with a whole lot of people and he don't know?
That's alluded to, but if you see the movie, it gives you a better understanding.
Okay. So the question is this a family-friendly movie?
No, this is for a mature teenager. It's not for kids, and it, you know, there's a lot of death and a lot of killing.
Okay. Not family-friendly. I'm glad we talked about that part. Okay. So the other question is who would be interested in a movie like this?
Yeah. a mature teenager and people my age who grew up with Wolverine, he's the most popular X-Men character, probably. So,
So X-Men is Marvel, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. So now, me personally,
Yeah,
I don't like Wolverine.
yeah, I know.
Period.
Right,
But and I never got hooked on Wolverine.
all right,
I got hooked on everybody else, but not Wolverine. I don't know why.
all
I
right.
guess I kind of my comic book days faded out when he came on the scene.
Okay,
But when I seen him in the movies, he seemed to be kind of arrogant and racist to me.
right,
Just me personally, just And then the other thing about these characters, man, it's like it gives Caucasians an opportunity to be something.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
To
Above,
be like an immortal.
yeah, beyond human.
Yeah,
And then people get all wrapped up in that, and it's kind of like for me, like just be a regular person. But they get hooked up in these characters. So I never cared for him, never followed him, never wanted to watch his movies or nothing like that. Just because the ones I did see him in, he was real nasty. And the thing that what got it was what movie was that in? Was Storm was in it?
yes,
Holly Berry.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like he just overdid abusing her, man. That's to me, you know.
All right.
So I said, man, this is not nothing not that I care for. But that's just my personal belief
Okay.
on it. So we got Logan. Anything else on Logan?
No, that's it.
All right. So I guess what the big question is do you recommend it?
Yes, for your mature viewers.
Okay. All right. So next movie. What's the next one we're gonna do?
Get Out.
All right. Get Out. What you think?
Probably the best movie I've seen the end of last year and this year.
Really?
Yes.
Why you say that?
Because it goes into the psychological and racism. It puts both of those together.
Okay. All right. I have to agree with you. I don't know if it's the best movie I've seen, but it's a good movie.
Right, right,
It's an excellent movie in terms of what you're talking about the psychology of racism, and then psychology period, about how people play with people's minds and things.
right.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. And then the director was his name Jordan Peele, right?
Yes.
Of the comedy team,
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I didn't know that, man. He did an excellent job, didn't he?
Yeah, and that was his first movie, they say. So I'm looking for big things
That was his
coming from
first
him.
movie.
That's what they say, but he may have made other
Wow.
movies.
Well, he did a hell of a good job, man.
Yeah.
Hell of a good
Yeah.
job, man. Yeah, I would. So, what do you recommend now? Is it family friendly?
No, not for kids, but for, you know, older teenagers, and maybe, the husband and wife thing, probably.
Now, my son saw it. Jamil,
Right,
I asked him the same question, right? Because we always try to screen the movies for our grandkids, right?
Right.
For the kids, right? Because they'll see anything that's publicly put out there with looking at the advertisement.
right,
So he said yes. So then when I saw it, I said yes too. But the only reason why I said that is because of the racial implication in it. And it kind of shows you, in my point of view, it kind of shows you how to not get sucked up in the power. Because these people had power,
right,
but they also had an agenda.
right,
And even though in the movie the agenda was spelled out, you understand, And what I saw that as being symbolic of how people with power, especially Caucasian with power, how they treat us, what they think about us, and basically is that they're just going to use us,
Right.
use some of our talents, so that they can proceed on. So I think that if a child is being groomed about racism and the evils of racism,
Right.
then I think they should see the movie. If they're not, if they're just saying, every la-di-da-di-da, just go out in the world, then it could be, they might not understand it,
Right.
But I remember having this conversation with a group of people, and they were talking about black people's power and potential, and how they can be used, or what's that, exploited.
Right.
And so one of the people in it said back in the East Coast there's a Jewish saying. Said a Jew would tell you, don't give me $1 million, just give me a nigga's address. And it was kind of funny, catchy little saying, but it's just showing how people that have connections, can take this raw potential and form it into something and put the connections to it
Right.
and make $1 million. You just make all kind of money. I mean, look at these athletes. You see, they don't own teams. They don't own the conglomeration of teams. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they play in the sport. And people that own these things make all this money. People own the stadiums and all. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They make all this money off the potential of these athletes, and actors too.
Right.
Same thing with actors. So I don't think we as a race understand our potential. It's like we are waiting to plug into something, to give us access to things. And when we should plug into ourselves and produce our own. And as long as we don't do that, we're always going to be a victim of being used. That's what I'm trying to say, being used. And you look at some of these entertainers, Sammy Davis Jr., Red Fox, a list goes on that I know specifically. They all died broke.
Right.
Joe Louis, he was so broke that Frank Sinatra had pity on him and made him a doorman in one of the Las Vegas hotels. You see what I'm saying? And so the point I'm trying to make is, what did these great entertainers, these multi-million-dollar makers, leave behind for the next generation coming up?
Right.
It was all just a personal thing. And then they got to the point where they didn't care anymore. Some of these people had to have charity to get buried.
Right.
Like Little Richard. They said that Little Richard, had to have somebody step in and help him save his house. Different things like that.
Right.
You see.
Do you think, like, the relatively successful black man going with a white woman, what did you think about that in the movie?
Well, that's a personal choice.
Right.
But how it looks, it doesn't look good.
Right.
But then it does look good for a person that's looking for upward mobility. If I'm supposed to have a white woman now. Look, I'm making all this money. I'm somebody. So I'm supposed to have a white woman. But for the conscious person is always going to remember that what they do, they're not doing it for their personal selves. They're doing it for the benefit and the dignity of the race. You see. And then, like I said, again, it's a personal choice, but it looks bad.
Right.
Because it's telling young people that this is what success means.
Right.
And but you can't legislate or put some kind of label on love when somebody loves you. You know what I'm saying? because I mean, you think about Harry Belafonte, you know, icon, civil rights icon, right? Got a white wife.
Right.
You see, what's this boy here, Jordan Peele?
Hmm.
It's rumored he got a white wife, you know.
Right. But it's the movie shows you where him going out with a white woman, cost him his life maybe. So, and that's something. My age group, we didn't ever deal with that. We only saw it maybe on Eyes on the Prize. So I think taking that into consideration, that for the conscious person.
Yeah, that's a whole show for me. But let's keep moving.
All right.
What was the next one?
Is it I Am Not Your Negro?
Okay. I'm Not Your Negro. So that was the narratives of James Baldwin, right?
Yeah.
It was a documentary, right? So
Yeah.
kind of. And Samuel L. Jackson was the narrator.
Right, right.
So I thought it was excellent.
Right.
I thought it was past due, way past due,
Right.
but very excellent, and revisited it and reestablished the trials and tribulations that we all suffered and the
Right.
past generations suffered through, which has kind of been lost, because of hip hop. People don't pay any attention to that anymore.
Right.
So I thought it was vital. So that's why I went out and campaigned really to everybody to see that movie.
Right.
So what's your view on it?
Like in the beginning of the movie, he talks about living in Paris and seeing a little girl in Charlotte integrating a school, and he longed to be with his family and be around black people. And when getting into the film community, you always talk about going to other countries and stuff like Paris, Paris, France, and that wasn't fulfilling. He's showing you that we were born here, all our family and friends are here, so he wanted to come back and try to make it better. So I thought that was good. And also, he talked about Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King. He was older than them. And I always kind of wondered about that, how older people looked at those leaders. And he wasn't that much older, I don't think. But it gave you like another reference, because when you see those leaders when you were young, you didn't realize that they were that young. But it said like Malcolm X died when he was 39, and I'm 35 now, so and I'm not too old, but it's just gave you a different like paradigm to look through at the civil rights movement and the leaders.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, man, 100%. One of the things he said too when he was in Paris, he said he could have stayed there,
Yeah.
and dealt with the French and Algerian situation,
All right.
which is the same situation that was here.
Right.
The colonizer and the colonized. You know what I'm saying? But he wanted to come back here. So, but what I'm trying to say is that the same dynamics was there.
Right.
The darker people were being taken advantage of by the Caucasian.
Right.
See? But then the other dynamic, that he was homosexual. See.
Yeah, it didn't talk. Well, it may briefly talked about it in the movie.
Well, if you knew about him, you already knew that. See,
Right.
That's the thing, and that was a dynamic that was an undercurrent in the whole thing. Knowing that,
Right.
because I remember seeing him do a debate with Malcolm X, right?
Right.
And you're looking at Malcolm X, the dominating character, dominating figure, right?
Right.
Coming from a dominating ideology of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And then this guy's a little guy, little dude, right? And he's homosexual. You know, it's just two opposing forces almost.
Right.
And he's trying to convince the audience that you have to include, that if you're going to have a civil rights movement and be in the civil rights movement, you have to include white people, because some white people are going to want to help you. You can't keep them out. And Malcolm's whole premise was, no, we need to separate. You know, we do our thing and build ourselves up, you know, internally.
Right.
And, you know, both had good points, but just to see this dynamic in a debate, you know, Malcolm is the man's man, you know, and James Baldwin is the homosexual man, see.
Right.
So it was a hell of a debate, because what Malcolm was saying was limited. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What James Baldwin was saying was expanded, opened up the whole door.